It is that time of year again. It is now time for the Superstar Shakeup. This is your predictions for 10 superstars, 5 for Raw, 5 for SmackDown, not counting anybody coming up from NXT because, quite frankly, there is no need to bring anyone else from NXT up. We have EC3, Heavy Machinery, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross, Lars Sullivan, Aleister Black, and Ricochet. That is 7 superstars right there. We will not be predicting everybody who came up in the first one because I don't even think WWE knows what they want to do with them. We will decide. I will predict where Aleister Black and Ricochet are going later on in the show. As we know, the Superstar Shakeup is one of those unpredictables. It kind of ruined the Raw and SmackDown after Mania because WWE seemed to hold off on doing a proper Raw after Mania at least because they wanted to wait for the Superstar Shakeup, which is coming this Monday and Tuesday from Montreal. Expect Roman to get booed, and expect a lot of. Hopefully, this will take the division, both divisions of Raw and SmackDown, both brands, and solidify where superstars are going to be from now until next year's WrestleMania. And we won't see more brand jumping that we saw for the entirety of WrestleMania build. We had Becky and Charlotte on SmackDown and Raw over and over and over again. And then, of course, this past Monday and Tuesday, we had Kofi and The Bar come to Raw. Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman come to SmackDown in some uninspired and boring ways. But with things that happened at WrestleMania and the Tuesday following, like the Mondays and Tuesday following WrestleMania, it gave me a question of, oh, this is going to happen here and this is going to happen there. Our first prediction, of course, is going to be that the Usos are coming to SmackDown or to Monday Night Raw. The Usos are 5-time SmackDown Live champions. Or is it 3-time SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions? I know they won a Tag Team Championship before that, but they have done literally everything they can. They just faced the Hardys this past Tuesday, and other than facing the Hardys again, and I don't see why they would need to do that, they have nothing left to do on SmackDown Live, and the SmackDown Live Tag Team division compared to Raw's is pretty strong. You have the New Day, the Usos, the Bar, the Hardys. You don't, and Sanity if they would be booked right, you don't need to see the Usos over here. They have a new challenge by coming to SmackDown, by coming to Monday Night Raw, and the reason that Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder kept the tag team titles coming out of WrestleMania is quite clear after they beat the Revival. And that is, of course, that the Usos are going to come to Raw, and either on their first night or at Money in the Bank, they're going to challenge Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder and win the Tag Team Championships, taking the titles and becoming the faces of the Raw Tag Team division. Now, of course, this is all speculation, but from what it's just seen is that Raw is going to get a upheaval in their Tag Team division like they should. People are saying we need to merge the divisions. We need to merge the divisions of the women's title and just have one, and the men's tag team titles because it would help the divisions. Actually, no, it would make it worse. And now, if they want to merge and go back and kill off the brand split, no more brand split, nobody seems to think this. Nobody seems to think this one fucking day. Fox has already come out and said that they don't want SmackDown and Raw people mingling with each other when we get to Fox on Friday nights. So having the divisions merged would be actually detrimental because it would be the New Day, the Bar, and the Usos, and that's it. You wouldn't see the chance of Sanity getting to do anything. I know they don't do anything right now. They may end up on Monday Night Raw, and they could be a pillar to help the Raw Tag Team division. But the Usos could be the ones, and if the Glorious Ones turn heel, which the Glorious Ones, they've grown on me, they've grown on everybody else. They need to stay on Monday Night Raw as a tag team. They could turn heel, which I still say Bobby Roode's going to probably turn heel on Chad Gable anyway, but they could turn heel. They could be a tag team to help be the antagonist to the Usos, who have solidified themselves as pure baby faces for the rest of their WWE career after what they did to help Kofi Kingston get to WrestleMania. Now, if the Usos are coming to Monday Night Raw, I'm saying because of what happened at WrestleMania and the next night, the Revival are coming to SmackDown Live, and I think this is a good place for the Revival to go. There is no reason that the Revival should stay on Monday Night Raw. They actually have nothing left to do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have nothing left to do. They go out there, they get promised there's going to be change to the tag team division, and what do they get? They get stepped on, they get pissed on, and they get beat in one of the most laziest ways I think I've ever seen, which of course was I think Song Monster, someone said the '94 or something Royal Rumble where the guy plays dead, rolls him up 1, 2, 3. That's what we got. We got the Revival pretty much being disrespected and not having the tag team division on Raw anymore, which tells me that they're coming to SmackDown Live. And quite honestly, matches with the New Day and the Bar and the Revival would be awesome. Of course, last year when it came out that Fox wants the hokey shit to go away, they don't want to have the comedy that you see on SmackDown Live with like teams of New Day and other stupid shit like that. I figured the New Day would be going off to Monday Night Raw, but with the fact that Kofi Kingston is your WWE champion, and I would not want to break up the New Day, because quite honestly, Kofi Kingston is not going to hold that championship for very much longer. It's just not happening. Kofi Kingston as your WWE champion is not happening. Past Money in the Bank, at least, in my opinion. I don't think Kofi's going to be WWE champion coming out of Money in the Bank. So if you were to break the New Day up, Kofi Kingston, in my opinion, would just fall and fall and fall back to the mid-card and fall and fall and fall until he was not seen anymore. So, and the fact with Big E tearing his meniscus and being out for at least a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, Kofi Kingston is going to be your WWE champion, and Xavier Woods is going to be his manager for the majority of the time. And when the New Day was first being formed back in 2015, I think it was, or 2014, whenever Xavier Woods recruited Big E and Kofi Kingston into this group, before they became the New Day, months before that, they were on TV, and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and Big E wrestled a couple matches on TV, on main event, on house shows, with Xavier Woods being the manager, which JR said Xavier Woods wanted to be the manager for both Kofi and Big E. He would actually be a good one because he can wrestle, he can take an ass kicking if he has to, like a chicken shit manager would do. Like they antagonize the heels or something, which of course they're being baby faces, that's not going to happen. But I could see guys like that staying, and now like having the Revival versus the New Day, Revival versus the Bar, Revival versus the Sanity, if you want to do that too, could be great. This could be a resurgence for the Revival, giving us a spark on that side of the tag team division, help solidify the SmackDown tag team division. The Usos go to Raw and they build up that tag team division while the Revival goes to SmackDown. Now, the next one is something we have all been pitching in the fact that it could not happen last year because he was WWE champion, and something that Vince has been wanting for since 2017 SuperStar Shakeup is AJ Styles. Of course, AJ Styles right now is out with a hip injury from a superplex that he took at WrestleMania against Randy Orton. He probably will not be at the SuperStar Shakeup. If it is, it's in a non-wrestling capacity, maybe in a backstage segment. But AJ Styles is coming to Monday Night Raw. Vince McMahon has wanted AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw since SuperStar Shakeup #1. As I said last year, if McMahon wanted AJ Styles at the Superstar on Monday Night Raw from the Superstar Shakeup last year, then Shinsuke Nakamura would have won the WWE Championship, and AJ Styles would have been on Raw. Do I think this is a good idea? No, because AJ Styles should be like the Undertaker from the original brand split, where you have one constant on your brand, and that would be AJ Styles. In that is that he is always going to be part of SmackDown. He has the catchphrase that SmackDown Live, the house that AJ Styles built. Now I take that as he didn't help build SmackDown itself, but when it came to SmackDown Live, this guy has been the tether of SmackDown Live. He is the guy who's held it down while other superstars have come and gone from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. But AJ Styles coming to Monday Night Raw would not surprise me one bit. Again, he's got a hip injury, so if it probably could be a backstage segment. I think AJ Styles would deserve better than just having his picture on a graphic coming into Monday Night Raw. Oh, look who else is coming to Monday Night Raw, and it's AJ Styles. No, AJ Styles is too big of a guy to be just given that kind of treatment. So, and AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins would be phenomenal, be awesome. Of course, outside of the tag team champions, the Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, the Hardy Boys, Kofi Kingston, and Seth Rollins, everybody else is up for grabs in the Superstar Shakeup, in my opinion. You're not going to take this. You're not going to take the Universal Championship and move it to Monday night to SmackDown Live, especially since it's on a red strap. That would just be kind of stupid. The WWE Championship, unless you're going to put the Universal Championship on a black and blue strap for Seth Rollins, I don't see either of these two on the screen right now moving from Raw to SmackDown. It's just not going to happen. But a tease that we got on SmackDown Live makes me wonder if this next guy, Braun Strowman, to SmackDown Live. Braun Strowman came out on SmackDown Live and went after Samoa Joe, who just got done choking out R-Truth and saying that he beat Rey Mysterio in 30 seconds or 55 seconds at WrestleMania, under 60 seconds. And he might be faster than the next guy. And this is a warning to everybody that next time I might do it even quicker. Out came Braun. Those two brawled. Braun got put down into the Coquina clutch onto one knee. He got back out, looked to power slam Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe said, scratched his eyes and got out of there with his championship. If this is a thing, and you do see Braun Strowman coming to SmackDown Live, it would not surprise me. But the simple fact is, WWE has got to rectify what they've done with Braun Strowman. Plain and simple. What they've done with Braun Strowman since, I don't know, SummerSlam. He wins Money in the Bank. The night after SummerSlam, he goes to cash it in. The Shield come out. The Shield powerbomb him through the announce table. The very next week, he turns heel. Ill-advised by the fans that you turn this guy heel. He goes out and has his little heel run, faces Roman Reigns in Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship in his Money in the Bank briefcase cash-in, which, again, for 2 years in a row, the Money in the Bank briefcase was useless. The guy lost his chance, but it wasn't the fact that he lost. It's the fact that Brock Lesnar came back, and for the first time ever, a Hell in a Cell match landed a no contest. A Hell in a Cell match was deemed a no contest. Are you kidding me? That's absolutely ridiculous. Then they turned him babyface again. He got squashed by Brock Lesnar in 2 minutes. Had an elbow injury. Had won a match at TLC with help of others in a TLC match to beat Baron Corbin to go to Royal Rumble to face Brock Lesnar. He got taken out of that match after pretty much exposing himself to being not ready in a promo segment that happened 2 weeks before the segment where he got taken out. Goes and wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and does nothing. And he's just been the guy that everyone's like, he had so much potential to be Universal Champion, and they dropped the ball every single time. Him going to SmackDown Live, him winning the U.S. Championship from Samoa Joe would not surprise me one bit. It would get him back on the right foot with some of the fans. It would suck for Samoa Joe unless they did something where Braun Strowman won the U.S. Championship on Tuesday, and then they sent Samoa Joe back to Raw, which I would doubt that, but I just don't see Braun Strowman not going to SmackDown Live and not challenging and not winning a championship. Him versus Kofi would not be happening right now. We'll have that in a little bit later, who I think is going to be facing Kofi Kingston first, in which I would rather see compared to what the news reports had said. But Braun Strowman coming to SmackDown Live would not surprise me one bit. It was teased on Tuesday, and again, it would not surprise me one bit. Moving over to the women's division, a lot of people are talking about the women's division being merged with the fact that you have Becky 2 belts winning 2 championships. She is not the undisputed women's champion. She is the Raw and SmackDown Live women's champion. She is a double champion. When Seth Rollins was the WWE champion and he beat John Cena in a title-for-title match, did they merge the United States Championship and the WWE Championship? No, dumbasses, they didn't. He held both titles for a month, dropped the U.S. title back to John Cena, and went on his merry way for another month or so, another month and a half, I believe, with the WWE Championship before he ended up tearing his entire knee up. Becky Lynch is going to lose one of those championships. They did not, unless they say they want to merge the divisions, which it would be an absolute mistake. Everyone's saying, oh, there's people saying, oh, this is the right idea. This is the right decision to merge the divisions. No, it's not. Then you might as well just say like an Ember Moon, a Naomi, a Asuka. Well, you guys are just going to be afterthoughts because the only people going to be vying for this one championship are going to be Becky, Charlotte, Lacey Evans, and that's it. Ruby Riott, she should be getting title opportunities. Those title opportunities would be gone. Ember Moon hasn't had a championship opportunity on the main roster. Guess what? With one single title in two different divisions on two different shows, she doesn't get a championship opportunity. People bitched and moaned and complained for Asuka because she got fucked over going into WrestleMania. If the divisions were merged, Asuka's chances of ever having another championship opportunity, those are gone. Absolutely gone. Vince McMahon and others have been like, there's people in the back who view Lacey Evans as a future world champ, a future big star in WWE. We as the fans don't. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. But their big three names for the women's division are Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Lacey Evans. Everyone else with one championship gets thrown to the wayside. Sasha Banks and Bayley, if they stick around, there are opportunities to ever, if they go to SmackDown and say Charlotte Flair gets the SmackDown Live title back, or say Lacey Evans takes the SmackDown title off of Becky and Becky goes to Raw. Bayley and Sasha Banks will never have another chance at singles gold. That's the reason why they wanted this tag team division. They wanted to be the tag team champions to make those titles mean something, because they know, in the grand scheme of things, as single superstars, they have no shot to be singles champions anymore. People are calling for Sasha Banks to be the big time heel that she was in NXT. Get it through your thick fucking skulls. This is not NXT. This is main roster television. Vince McMahon does not give two fucks about what somebody did in NXT. They are going to book the women and the men how they feel on the main roster. If they see Sasha Banks as a babyface, they're going to book her as a babyface whether she was as good as a heel or not. They know that they are not suited to WWE in the singles division, so that's why they wanted the tag team division. That's why they wanted the tag team titles. That's why they pestered Vince McMahon for months and months and months to get those titles to be what they were. And then they gave them to the Iconics, the Idiotics, and those titles mean absolutely nothing. But merging the divisions is a terrible idea. Maybe for the tag team championships, because those are different, because there are only like 6 or 7 teams. But for the women's division, if you have one single solitary title, even Becky Lynch in an interview she had, if there were 2 different brands, what's the point of having one title belt? Because that's less things for women to fight for. So instead of having 3 championships for women to fight over, you have 2 with the SmackDown, with the tag team titles and the women's title. Merging the divisions, merging the singles divisions is the dumbest thing WWE could ever fucking think of. Like I said, if they kill the brand split and it's like, what's the point of the SuperStar Shakeup? Then that's fine because there's only a need for one belt. But if they keep Raw and SmackDown as one single division, like 2 different divisions, there is absolutely no reason to unify the divisions. Plain and simple. Now, moving over to the women's division, as I was saying, Naomi, I feel, is coming to Monday Night Raw. Why? Real simple. It's no different about it. Her husband is Jimmy Uso, and Jimmy Uso coming to Monday Night Raw. I think there's something in their contracts or something to have both of them on SmackDown on the same brand. Or WWE would like to keep them happy because Jimmy and Jay just signed 5-year contracts. Maybe Naomi's going to do the same thing. Why would you want to split them up on traveling? I know back in the day, WWE was more anti that. Like because if I'm correct, Mickie James was dating somebody who was on Raw and she was put on SmackDown back in the early days, and that ended that relationship. Now WWE probably would be more pro. I mean, when Miz got drafted or got sent from Raw to SmackDown the first time, his wife was with him, and then the second time when he got moved from SmackDown to Raw, his wife came with him, and vice versa. When she was shown is that she would always travel with him. So Naomi coming to Raw, it would help. I would help bring the division up a little bit. I know Naomi's not the best in the ring, but she's better than majority of the Raw division. But if you had Becky, you had Nikki Cross or somebody, or you had somebody else, and then you had Naomi added as well, I think that would strengthen the Raw division. One of the biggest things coming out of this Superstar Shakeup that WWE needs to do is figure out what they're doing with the divisions, including like with the women's divisions. The tag team divisions are something that if they wanted to merge those, that'd be one thing. But the women's divisions, there's enough on these brands that it sucks that Bayley and Sasha Banks pushed for the tag team divisions, because the tag team belts. Because quite honestly, if it were me, Intercontinental U.S. title for the women's over tag team titles. Give these women 2 different titles on each brand to fight for. So when you have Asuka getting fucked over in the women's division, you could still have the Intercontinental title or U.S. title that she could win or something like that. Having them have a tag team titles was not the brightest move. If we're moving Naomi to Raw, who we're going to move to SmackDown? I honestly think because she got injured right after the Royal Rumble and really didn't do enough on Monday Night Raw, Ember Moon would be great for SmackDown Live. Why would Ember Moon be great for SmackDown Live? Simple. Asuka stays on SmackDown Live. Charlotte stays on SmackDown Live with the SmackDown Live Championship eventually. And you have your top 3 right there. If they want to put Lacey Evans, Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw, fine, whatever, that's fine. Have those 2 feud over the Raw Women's Championship on Monday Night Raw. Becky can just put Lacey Evans in her place. As I've said before, nobody cares about Lacey Evans. She hit Becky Lynch with the women's right 2 nights in a row, and Becky Lynch hardly sold the move, so she's pretty much dead to everybody who would have to give a fuck. Ember Moon and Asuka put on the best matches in 2017 for NXT. Having them to feud and start the feud up again on SmackDown for a chance or for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship would be absolutely phenomenal and absolutely awesome. It would not surprise me if that was the way WWE would want to go. But Ember Moon needs a new lease on life. She did miss most of the last few months because of injury. Let's hope that she can do something here to get herself primed for a spot on SmackDown Live. It would be great for her to be able to go to SmackDown, show us what she can do, and we can go from there. So I'm saying Ember Moon is coming to SmackDown Live. Like I said, she really didn't factor much into Monday Night Raw other than turning Nia Jax heel. Then she went to the Royal Rumble, got her an elbow injury, and she made her return in the Women's Battle Royal. Wasn't seen on Monday Night Raw this week. Wasn't seen on SmackDown Live. So it would not surprise me if she ends up on Monday on SmackDown Live. Asuka and her could, quite honestly, if you put Ember Moon and Asuka are both on SmackDown Live, and one of them could get the championship for the women's championship, if they're not merging the divisions, which I don't think they should, those 2 right there could hold and feud over the women's title for the entirety of 2018 or 2019. You can throw Charlotte in there a little bit. You can throw Carmella in there as a throwaway championship contender. Fire and Desire could be they could feud over with Fire and Desire both. I think that would be huge for the War Goddess Ember Moon. Our latest NXT call-ups, Ricochet and Aleister Black have been tagging since Johnny Gargano's time. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's time in NXT on the main roster got cut short because of Tommaso Ciampa's neck injury. DIY was supposed to probably do everything outside of the match at Takeover New York. It seemed like everything Aleister Black and Ricochet did, DIY was supposed to do. But with the Superstar Shakeup being this week, I feel like what we've seen of these 2 as a tag team is now kaput. One's going to Raw and one's going to SmackDown. I believe, and this is just a guess, Aleister Black is going to be going to Monday Night Raw. He just feels like that character type of person that Vince McMahon would want on Monday Night Raw. The dark, brooding killer that he could be. A lot of people were expecting him, for whatever fucking reason, to turn on Ricochet without volition for some stupid reason. They're like, oh, he's going to turn on Ricochet. It's time for him to turn on Ricochet so they can... Not every tag team has to break up because of a turn. That is stupid. Aleister Black should be going to Monday Night Raw. It just feels like he would fit more on Monday Night Raw than SmackDown Live. Quite honestly, I think both guys could go on SmackDown Live, but if you were to do that, then you would expect these two to keep as a tag team. And Ricochet, I can see as a tag team. Quite honestly, and I'll talk about that in a second. Ricochet could be a tag team partner with somebody else who's on SmackDown Live, and I'll talk about that in a second. Aleister Black seems like a guy who would be a lone wolf. You wouldn't see this guy is not used to being a partner of somebody. I didn't watch Tommy End on the independent circuit, so I don't know what he did on the indies. But his character seems like it's somebody who walks alone, who doesn't have friends, who doesn't sit there and socialize with anybody. Aleister Black, Monday Night Raw, Aleister Black versus the Demon. Could you imagine at Money in the Bank, Aleister Black versus the Demon? Aleister Black versus the Demon at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title. That would be absolutely amazing. His tag team partner, if you haven't already guessed, is going to SmackDown Live, in my opinion. Why? One thing, if they want to keep Ricochet in the tag team division, and this would, I think, help solidify SmackDown's tag team division even more, put him with another high flyer in Mustafa Ali. They did have them team up with Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali this past Tuesday in a 6-man tag match against Rusev Nakamura and Andrade Cien Almas, in which Ricochet, Aleister Black, and Mustafa Ali won. If they wanted to split those two up and keep Mustafa Ali and Ricochet together, it would actually be, I think, a pretty fun tag team. I could see these two be some of the best high flyers in WWE. So Ricochet on SmackDown, he would be a great single superstar, but they wanted to keep this guy in the tag team division, this is just my guess. Him and Mustafa Ali, I think, would be a great tag team. It would keep these guys on TV, and it would keep these guys from being buried like everyone else would be in the long run. Yes, Mustafa Ali got fucked over because of an injury, but this would be a great way to keep Mustafa Ali in the focal point of the WWE Universe. These two could team up and work solo stars if they wanted to, just to be on the same page. They looked like they had some real good chemistry as a tag team in that 6-man tag match. I think these two would work well together, and that's where I think that would go. So we have 8 superstars down. We have 2 more to go. These next 2 are just guesses of mine. Even though one seemed to be teased for SmackDown, and I still don't get why they went with it on SmackDown, but we'll get to the SmackDown one here in a second. Monday Night Raw will get the services of Andrade Cien Almas. Why? Who the hell knows? Just Vince McMahon loves to prey on everybody and use. But Andrade Cien Almas really didn't do anything on SmackDown until this year. He came up from NXT after the SuperStar Shakeup last year. He was getting promo packages for like 3-4 weeks. Finally showed up, wrestled a couple matches against like Sin Cara, which I think was some of the, like. If you look at this, Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles were 3, and Daniel Bryan, I think he wrestled 1 too when Daniel Bryan was still a babyface, were 4 guys that Andrade Cien Almas went into the ring with and put on some great goddamn matches. I wanted to see, and this is not something you usually want to see, I wanted to see Andrade Cien Almas versus Sin Cara again after the classics, on the great matches they put on. AJ Styles versus Andrade Cien Almas were great matches. His versus Daniel Bryan. Everyone's still talking about how Andrade Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio 1 and 2 in single matches are 2 of the best matches in SmackDown Live history. They are some of the best matches ever. When we look back at this year, and we look back at the best matches in SmackDown Live for this year, you're going to be talking about Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas 1 and 2. We were supposed to get a 3. That didn't happen because of an ankle injury, unfortunately. It just seems like WWE will be moving this guy on to Monday Night Raw to see what he can do in front of the Raw audience. WWE tries to think that Raw and SmackDown audiences are 2 different audiences. That's like when John Cena, and it's one of those things, when John Cena was on SmackDown and they did a documentary thing on his rise, Vince McMahon was saying that John Cena did so well on SmackDown, it's time to move him onto Raw to see if he can click with the Raw audience. So, Andrade Cien Almas coming to Monday Night Raw would be great because I could see him and Seth Rollins burning the house down. Finn Balor and Andrade Cien Almas burning the house down. Aleister Black, if he's on Raw, revisiting their rivalry again, burning the house down in great matches if that could happen. Would it suck for Andrade Cien Almas to go to Raw? Yes, because they cater to more character than they do wrestling, unlike they do on SmackDown Live. But Andrade Cien Almas to Raw just feels like it's something they're going to do. The next one is one that I think a lot of people could see happening, especially after Tuesday, and what was supposed to happen on Tuesday but got changed to a 6-man tag match is Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came up after the SuperStar Shakeup, and of course after his bicep healed from War Games in 2017. He came in with Dolph Ziggler. Those two became tag team champions, and his entire time on Monday Night Raw has not felt the way it should have. He lost the Finn. He went from being a dominant guy in a tag team to being part of a faction to losing to Finn Balor, his steam coming off, and then him losing, and then him winning, and then him being in 3-man bland, getting beat by The Shield, getting beat by Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, him being on SmackDown Live this week. It was supposed to be, I guess, Kofi Kingston versus Drew McIntyre in a singles match. Got turned into a 6-man tag match. He got told to go to the back, so he didn't. So him losing wouldn't have mattered because he wasn't out there, even though it does matter. Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston looked like it was teased at the beginning, and it just seems like Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston would be one hell of a program for Drew McIntyre to be in. Would Kofi Kingston lose the WWE Championship to Drew McIntyre? Most likely not. Would it be a clean finish? Most likely not. Most likely, Drew McIntyre would probably cheat or get disqualified or counted out, and Kofi would retain that way. We'll have to wait and find out. But I think that Drew McIntyre could have a new lease on life. I do still want to know what WWE's directive was to have Tom Phillips on SmackDown say that imagine Roman Reigns coming to SmackDown Live. I still have not heard anything or anyone mention that on any other podcast. I know I heard it. I know I'm just sitting here and I'm like, you just hear it in a joking manner. Could you imagine Roman Reigns coming to SmackDown Live? And it's like, what the fuck is that shit? SuperStar Shakeup coming to you tomorrow and Tuesday from Montreal. Expect the unexpected. If any of these predictions are right, I would not be surprised, especially the first few that I made. The Usos going to Raw seems more evident now. The fact that they lost the tag team titles to the Hardy Boys, and the Revival going to SmackDown much more evident with the fact that they lost the tag team titles and then lost a rematch going into the next day. The Hardy Boys Matt Hardy came out and challenged Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder to a title-for-title match on Monday Night Raw, or in Montreal, which I think both episodes are. I don't see that happening, and if it does, then expect another screwy finish, because Lars Sullivan has already taken out the tag team champions for SmackDown once already. It would not surprise me. Are they going to unify the titles? Hell no. There is no reason, again, that any championship, unless they're going to get rid of the brand split, should be unified. Enough of this talk. Just end it. If WWE goes through and wants to unify these titles, what's the fucking point of a goddamn brand split? I'm getting so sick and tired of hearing merge the divisions, because you only think about the ones who are the big names. You don't think about the other ones, especially with the women who don't ever get opportunities. Yes, they're not the best out there, but they don't get opportunities. What about a Nikki Cross? What about a Ruby Riott who got squashed by Ronda Rousey? She won't ever get another women's championship opportunity if the women's divisions were merged. She would be out of luck. Nikki Cross would never get a championship opportunity with one women's championship. But nobody fucking thinks about that. They just think, oh, this is the best thing because you'll have 4 women to chase after one championship. Yeah, 4 fucking women. That is it. While everyone else, including Sasha Banks and Bayley, gets thrown to the goddamn wayside and disrespected time and time again. Think, motherfuckers. Are you that goddamn stupid? Oh, yes, you must have. Because anybody who thinks that merging the divisions is the right idea has got to be the biggest fucking idiots out there. I don't give a fuck who you are, cultaholic, anyone else. What culture, anybody. If you say merging the divisions is a great idea, you are the dumbest motherfuckers on this platform, period. All I'm going to say about that. The biggest thing coming for the Superstar Shakeup, I am going to say before we finish up here, is that WWE has not told anybody from Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, which they're safe, they are champions of their brands. They have not told the tag team champions, they have not told the women's champ, they have not told anybody. None, like Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. Nobody knows. And the reason they do that, and I can see why they do it, because they want genuine reaction. This harkens me back to the first ever draft when they did the brand extension back in 2002. When The Undertaker was chosen by Ric Flair to be drafted to Monday Night Raw. And you just see he had sunglasses on because he was his American Badass. He had his bandana, his sunglasses on, and his coat. He pulls the sunglasses down and he's like, "Are you serious?" He didn't say what he was thinking. You saw it in his face. He gets up, throws something, picks his chair up and throws it, and gets pissed as fuck. You could tell that Undertaker, going into that draft, did not know he was going to Monday Night Raw. And when Ric Flair came out and was like, "My first pick is The Undertaker," he was like, "What the fuck?" It's a great reaction, but it also sucks for the most part. You can at least tell the people who, like, the mid-carders who aren't going to be touched or anything that, yeah, you're not going anywhere. But I see why they do it, and it's shitty, first off, because people got it, like, WWE superstars plan things out for their days off, and they don't know if they're going to have Monday, or if they're going to be off this day, or if they're going to be off that way, because Raw goes, like, Saturday, Sunday, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and SmackDown goes Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for their house shows. How, like, superstars, you got to know if they're going to have that Saturday off, that Friday off, or not. It's just one of those things. We'll have to wait and see. Predictions 4. That's 10 predictions. I know they're going to do more, but it's something that last year it seemed to be really much easier to tell who was going to Raw and SmackDown. This year it's just, we have so much up in the air. We have Sami Zayn, which brand is he going to? Lars Sullivan, which brand is he going to? Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, I guess, is in the mix. The Heavy Machinery, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross, EC3, everybody else. There's also talk about the Undisputed Era coming up. Why would you fucking do that? Pete Dunne possibly coming up. Who knows? There is so much to go with. We also have the fact that the Sky Pirates look to be on their way to SmackDown Live with Paige as their manager. So much to look forward to. Cannot wait. I will be here for both days. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at TheFrance. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. And I will see you guys tomorrow for part 1 of the Superstar Shakeup. Until then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.